Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We're here in the Deep Woods. It's a little subsection of the Faron Woods. And as you can see, it's a very, very linear path up to the first dungeon. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without Fee interrupting us and confirming that we are indeed in the place that the map just said we were in. Thank you, Fee. Now, anyway, like I said, this is a rather linear path. You've got a couple enemies on the way, but other than that, not a whole lot of trickery to be done. Except that was just the coolest thing ever, by the way. I will never, ever get sick of killing, like, 3 things at once with a Skyward Strike. Anyway, once in a while on this area, you'll see a beehive, and you can shoot that down with a slingshot and grab some, I think, larvae or something. That'll sometimes get knocked out. And if you're crafty about it, when you knock them down, then sometimes the bees will attack any enemies that are nearby. If you're not crafty about it, they'll attack you, as demonstrated here. Now, as of right now, we don't have any way of dealing with them. If you grabbed a bug-catching net before you left, then you could have caught them in that. But I neglected to do so, and we'll be doing that a bit later. Anyway, tightropes once again. Wanted to be sure that I had enough stamina to cross, just in case I had to do some shaking. Now, I don't think I explained, like, tightropes perfectly before. Basically, you have to kind of wave the Wii Remote to keep it in balance. If Link goes too far to the side, he'll like start stumbling, and then he'll fall off into the endless abyss, and that would be a bad thing, so don't let him do that. Generally, it's not too difficult unless you're either terrible at motion controls or you have an enemy wrecking up your shit at the time. And they will start introducing that issue in the near future. Breakers again. Still no problem. Now shimmy across this, and I'm not entirely sure why they felt the need to put that stamina berry there. Because generally, if you're going up on a cliff like this, you should wait until your stamina refills before you attempt it. Anyway, enemies on a tightrope. Here's the plan. You can go on the side here and jostle in order to get them to lose their balance, and that also works to get rid of those yellow things. It's also a somewhat easier way of crossing since you don't need to balance, but it does take up stamina, and as you can see, that's not really doing me any favors right now. Link it up there. But there we go. Mission accomplished. There is another... Okay, you know what was happening here is that my Wii Remote was just screwing up, and it tends to do that on tightropes, and I'm not entirely sure why. But... I don't know, like my Motion Plus comes a little bit loose or something? It's been a problem in the past. And basically anytime I have to put it directly vertical, it seems to be annoying for me. Anyway, rupees. Go to rupees. And yes, I am actually purposely getting hit, so I can demonstrate a mechanic right next to this tree over here. You see, there's somewhere to sit. And this is the game's way of giving you easy healing spots without putting any like breakable pots where you can use up hearts and then you don't have them in the future. It's basically an infinite healing spot. It's convenient. Sometimes a bit too convenient. Ooh, a gold one. Yeah. These guys can split either direction and take more hits. But again, parrying does the job just fine. More rupees. Like, I'm gonna fill up my wallet before we head back to the sky. It's a bit ridiculous. Oh, look who it is. So Gorko here is here to introduce these cubes. We saw one of those earlier in the Faron Woods. Didn't know what to do with them. But now we have a little explanation. See, we're already a hero of legend, and we haven't even done anything yet. But yes, these are goddess cubes. Basically, you activate them down here, and a treasure will appear up in the sky somewhere. Rather than giving you instant gratification, it causes you to seek out its location both on the ground and in the sky. I get what they were going for, but it's never very hard to find either of those locations, so it just kind of wastes your time. Light from a heavenly blade. If you don't know what this means, I'm not sure what to tell you. And ta-da, some sort of fabulous prize has just appeared in the sky. We could go get it now. I'll be waiting, of course, because that's how I do things. But yeah, one of the things that this game allows you to do, but I just kind of never bothered to do, is return to the sky at any point when you go down to the surface. Because they expect you to, like, want to go after those goddess cubes, or go restock your potions, or something of that sort, spend some rupees. But, you know, it's just, I never do it. Because I don't feel like it. And I get like, tunnel vision. Anyway, there's another goddess cube right there already. I mean, they're not all this obvious, but they're usually pretty obvious. Alright, so now, as you saw behind us here, we have a temple. Thank you, Fee. Well, we don't have much of a choice now, do we? So yeah, if you're not familiar with the Zelda series, dungeons are areas jam-packed with monsters, so be sure you're prepared before going in, because if you're not, you might have to leave part way and do something to get prepared and then come back. The horror. But yeah, saving is a good idea, and interesting there, it's referred to as the Forest Temple at this save point. Nowhere else. It has another proper title, but it's not the Forest Temple. Anyway, how do we open this door? It is sealed shut. We have a puzzle to figure out. And luckily the solution is displayed on a sign over here. And you're on the wrong side, Link. There we go. And I like that. That's a neat way of being somewhat subtle about it, even if it's just giving an answer. And you see that is ancient text created especially for this game. And the various things in this game have different little pieces of writing. Sometimes it's something relevant, sometimes it's an Easter egg. Those stone tablets say, "You can read this." Anyway, that was the puzzle. That's the puzzle. You saw me solving it. It's pretty easy. And welcome to the Skyview Temple. It's the first temple of the game. A lot of people like to judge Zelda games based on how long it takes to get to the first temple. I don't know if that's entirely fair, but whatever, we're finally here. Oh no, we're gonna have to find our own way in this relatively linear area. Anyway, we have a new sort of save points in here. They can't send you back to the sky, but they still serve as save points, so whatever. No problem. And for an introductory temple, Skyview Temple's alright. You got these things that get in your way. Like, it's pretty easy. I can't fault them for having a relatively easy first temple. But apparently some people are disappointed by it. I don't know. Certainly doesn't strike me as one of the most memorable temples in the game, but I mean, it's nice. It's cute. I like these phosphorescent mushrooms. Got a whole lot of, like, just growth everywhere. And it's all blue. It's like a forest temple that's blue rather than green. It's cool. It's neat. It's got good lighting, I guess would be what I take away from it. Anyway, the first section is just a little spiral staircase down. And to open that door over there, we need to hit that pink switch. 2 ways to do it. Get rid of this Deku Baba and then run up there, take care of him. If you try to just climb up, he'll wreck your shit. Or you can just shoot the switch with a slingshot from way down there. It doesn't matter, I'm just showing off probably the intended solution. And here we have a puzzle that was shown in one of the trailers that made me concerned about the nature of puzzles in this game. You gotta use your motion thing to make its eye spin, similar to those eye enemies in Mario 64. And I was really afraid that every puzzle in the game would be like that, you know, abusing the motion controls, but really not so much. Anyway, that sign would have shown you the solution to whatever. I don't need those stupid signs. And oh my god, Baba's on the ceiling. Yeah, I basically take care from the Skyward Strike. You could get rid of these yellow things and then just run up to them, but I like using the Skyward Strike because I'm stylish. Anyway, this is the first of 2 kind of hub rooms in the dungeon. And you might be thinking, oh my god, a hub room, there's some non-linearity here, we can do things in a different order. Not really. There are 4 exits to this room, 3 that we haven't gone in yet, but you can only go in one of them at this point, and once you open up the next one, that's the next one, and you can only go in that one. You only have that reason to go in that one. Basically, you can't do them out of order. It's not actually non-linear. Anyway, these things, Skulltulas, very different in this game. Often wreck me, honestly. What are you? I don't need you, Fee. I'm fighting an enemy. Anyway, as usual, Skulltula's undersides are their wake points. So often what you gotta do is spin them around, and then time it so you can stab them in the butt, or gut, whichever. Which is easier said than done. It's actually a pretty crafty enemy. And then also you can cut that string, that web string that it has, once we get a certain item. And that is usually my preferred method, because then you have easier ways of dealing with them. Anyway, this is the puzzle of the first hub room, and it can be actually a little bit misleading, because it says that there are 2 switches, and you might find the thing in here. There's a thing in here, by the way. Yes, that switch. And you might think, oh, it's talking about 2 switches in this room. There must be another switch in this room. But that is actually not the case. It's talking about the hub room. Which is, you know, is a little intuitive. I definitely got stumped by it my first time until I looked around the hub room a bit more. And what is that thing? It's a mound of dirt. Ew. So unclean. But yeah, that stumped me, and I'm willing to admit that. I figured it out eventually, but I had to think about it over dinner. Anyway, like I said, this allows us to access the second exit to this room. Now that the water level is raised, we can hit that switch and unlock that door up there. God damn it, I want that blue rupee, but I missed my chance. And now, in this room, you can probably guess what's gonna happen. enemies, that's true, and Skulltulas. And possibly water levels. Anyway, here's another presentation of Skulltulas. Since they're stuck on that web completely, you can't swing them around. You'll have to just go around to the back and stab them there. So swinging on ropes, a little tricky. I usually like to come to a complete stop to recenter myself. You'll never really be forced to do it on a time limit, so don't worry too much. See, one hit, easy. And now these things, they're actually pretty tricky. If you try to stab them normally, just run up to them and attack them, their webs will bounce and you'll actually get hurt by the knockback. And the first time I played Hero Mode, that killed me. So I really do recommend using the Skyward Strike against them rather than normal slashing. Also, craftily hidden switch. You might be expecting another switch in this room since there is one on the opposite side, but I can understand missing it. And what does this guy say? Yeah, they like to mark maps with destination things. And I don't see an X, but I guess once we get the dungeon map, I guess it appears, if I remember right. It's conjecture at this point. And here we are on an upper level of that same hub room. I do like it when they use the full vertical space of a room. And there's our dungeon map. There actually aren't any compasses in this game. Dungeon map takes care of all that. Shows both chests and unexplored rooms. I noticed. I just saw it. I saw. Yeah, no beacons. You wouldn't be able to see him anyway. Anyway, in order to get through this last exit of the room, as you can see, there's a lock. And as you can see, there's an unopened chest connected to that first room we went into. So, we need to figure out a way to get to the other side of that room. I remember there was a large gap. And that's where the water levels come in. Since we raised the water level twice, we can go along this log and make our way to this set of ivy here. And if you don't know what you're doing, this will cause some trekking around the dungeon. You'll have to look around, retrace your steps, and it almost feels like a Zelda game. Go figure. See, look, and you're spinning, and you're swinging, it's just all sorts of fun. Maybe I'm just awful at Skulltulas? I don't know. Anyway, now we got two eyes. So position yourself correctly in order to confuse both of them at once. Can't do them one at a time for some whatever reason. And small keys. Been around since the early days, since the first game. Basically, they unlock doors in dungeons. It's pretty simple. In the original game, in Zelda 1, they could actually be transferred between dungeons, so you have extra keys from one dungeon and use them in another. In every game since then, it's been restricted to each dungeon. You have to use all the ones that you would find, generally, unless you have some sort of sequence break. And that allows us to go the wrong way. Oh no, we can do this. You may have seen this off to the side. This is a path back to that spiral staircase. Not really much of a reason to go there at this point. But someday you'll see. Someday you'll all see. You'll understand. Nobody understands me. And now we enter the second hub room. It's a little less of a hub, but I mean it's a big circular room, so whatever, just I'll roll with it. And open that up. And let's investigate this mysterious area. And we'll do that next time.